This is News 360. My name is Pa Kwesi. Major health breakthrough as Food and Drugs Authority approves new malaria vaccine expected to reduce child mortality and contribute to overall goal of eradication and elimination of the disease. We're going to stay a while longer on this story. Palgrave Boachi Dankwa is government spokesperson on governance and security. He joins us live on the phone lines. Thank you very much, sir, for your time, and good to have your News 360. A decline in civil liberties and a clampdown on free speech, according to the U.S. State Department's latest report. This doesn't appear to be good news for a government that seems to be priding itself in upholding the principles of good governance and democracy.
A very good evening to you and to your viewers, and to state very clearly that the rights of journalists have not been imploded upon by the government of President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Neither have we suppressed the expression of free speech. I mean, you have been in this country since our government came into office and had an opportunity to govern since 2017, and up until date, there is no single record of any government official either suppressing any journalist or even civil society organizations.
Have you read the latest State Department report? Have you cited the report?
I have. I've actually read through all of that. I mean, and so
if you have the report copiously cites examples of infringement on people's liberties, the arrest of some journalists. It talks about the case of Vaka Bomawo, who was detained for more than 30 days without trial. And you know the laws. That shouldn't happen in a democratic country. So what are you talking about? You
lose sight of the treasonable statement that Vaka Bomawo made.
And the court of law determined that the comments he made were treasonable? Was that determined by the law court?
Very, very treasonable. I mean, so Bomawo was picked by the Ghana Police Service.
Mr. Palgrave, I asked you a question. You said he made treasonable comments, and I'm asking if those statements you refer to as treasonable were determined by the law court.
Why was Bomawo picked in the first place and detained before court? While he was behind bars for those number of days, he was facing the law court and going in and out of the law court.
He was arrested for allegedly making treasonable comments, and that's why you put him before the law court for determination.
Absolutely, 100%. And he stated very clearly that there is no one in this country that can be able to take him on.
In related news, the Food and Drugs Authority has granted marketing approval for the R21 malaria vaccine manufactured by the Serum Institute of India for the immunization of children between 5 months and 3 years.
It's a day of pure elation for Ghana, for science, and for all of humanity, as the FDA has granted approval to a new vaccine. A vaccine against malaria, the R21 vaccine by the Serum Institute of India, that could change the world forever.
Well, very good evening and a warm welcome to Business Focus. This is your most authoritative business and economic analysis program live here on TV3. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. Well, tonight, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has increased the policy rate by 150 basis points to 29.5% after 3 days of meeting to review the health of the economy, despite repeated declines in the rate of inflation. What could have accounted for the central bank's latest decision? Also, for the very first time in many weeks, Treasury bills auctioned by the Bank of Ghana were undersubscribed following weeks of interest rate declines. Could this be a signal of investors adopting a wait-and-see attitude, even as negotiations for an IMF program intensify? We'll hear from an economist on this very latest issue. We'll get back to this discussion right after this break. Let's start off with what's the major issue for discussion today, and it has to do with the introduction of new taxes. We know about the the 5% tax on profit before tax.
The growth and sustainability
Growth
levy.
and sustainability levy. It used to be the fiscal, sustainability, fiscal levy, I think.
Yeah.
Fiscal levy, yeah, and then it was changed to growth and sustainability levy. Initially, it was charged to banks and insurance companies, and now, as part of government's broad, agenda to rake in additional revenue, it's extending it to other industries. I spoke to you on Friday, and I know you're particularly unhappy about this tax. What's your difficulty?
Every time we talk about oil and gas, we remember the beginnings. Cosmos, Tullow, Discovery 2007, Production 2010, and then, of course, E&I came in 2016.
To government itself. What sort of solutions?
That is their source of funding. I mean, that is what the port does. We're supposed to attract business into the ports of Ghana, and then that is how the government will make money.
Absolutely. So what solutions did you prefer to the Ports and Harbours Authority? What did you tell them? Because I know businesses have complained overly about the cost of doing business, and it's been exacerbated recently by the 3 new tax bills that have just been passed by Parliament. And so...
Okay, so first of all, this is not at all the fault of the Ports Authority. What they did was a good thing. Of course, they want to attract business here, so they want to know why throughput is low. That is no fault of theirs at all.
Yeah, let's go to North Town right now, where the Member of Parliament, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, says the Council of State must come out to state their position on the appointment of 2 out of the 3 individuals appointed to serve as electoral commissioners. Now, according to the legislator, the continued silence of the Council of State is shocking.
It's very obvious that we are no longer talking about just a key player in elections in Ghana, that is the National Democratic Congress, the party I belong to. We are now talking about a growing core, an avalanche of demands on the presidency to revoke the appointments of those partisan hacks.
Good evening and welcome to Ghana Tonight. We're coming to you live from our news hub here at Desawe in Kanda, Accra. We're streaming live on Facebook, at TV3 Ghana, and also on DSTV channel 279. We're also live around the world on 3news.com. Tonight, in the face of the High Court's description of Anas's style of journalism as investigative terrorism, we find out how that affects the practice of journalism, especially undercover journalism in the country. Gone by was Ghana Brief. If you just joined us, this is Ghana Tonight, live from our studios here at Desawe in Kanda, Accra. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. But first, let's take a look at excerpts of the documentary Ashaiman Under Siege, which highlights the military brutalities a few days ago and the general life in the area. Well, this documentary was put together by my colleague Godwin Asidiba.
Whilst beating us, they left us rolling on the mud, drinking the dirty water in the gutters.
Meanwhile, responding to their demands, the Parliamentary Committee on Defense promised to probe further and profile recommendations.
We know the people, or we know the perpetrators, and we all keep quiet. If we do that, innocent people, like what has happened to you last week, will happen. So I'm pleading that next time we don't shield anybody.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Biz Brief live from our studios here at Desawe in Kanda, Accra. We'll start off with a summary of the day's news bulletin, making headlines. Right, so let's return to our big story for the day. And government is hoping to raise about 1.96 billion cedis on the domestic market this week. This will be done through the issuance of the 91, 82, and 364-day treasury bills. Now, proceeds from the auction will be partly used to refinance maturing bills worth 1.75 billion cedis. Now, some analysts and market watchers are concerned about the increased government borrowing on the treasury market. This is because of the expected increase in interest payments. Business Brief. It came to you live from our studios here at Adesawe in Kanda, Accra. My name is Kwesi Asare. We've got some more business news coming your way on News 360. That's at 7:30. If you want to read some more business stories as well, go to our website. It's www.3news.com. It's the last day of March. Hello, good evening, and welcome to our major news bulletin. This is News 360. My name is Kwesi Asare. Parliament to consider 3 tax bills from government to shore up revenue as part of measures to secure IMF deal. Right, welcome to our major news bulletin. This is News 360. We really do appreciate your time. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Visit our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter. Also remember that we're live on your DSTV channel 279. Let's begin with the big story for the day, and it's about government's 3 new tax bills, which are currently before Parliament for consideration of the House. Now, the income tax bill is expected to rake in some 1.2 billion cedis, whilst the excise duty and excise tax stamp bills are expected to raise some 450 million cedis. Now, the Growth and Sustainability Levy is also expected to add some 2.2 billion cedis to the revenue basket. In all, government hopes to generate approximately 4 billion cedis per year to supplement domestic revenue. Now, government says the approval of the bills will help Ghana secure the $3 billion deal with International Monetary Fund. The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has charged Parliament to speed up the passage of the 3 revenue bills. Now, the call by the Finance Minister comes in the wake of a pushback from the business community as well as organized labor against the passage of the bills, describing them as unjustified and burdensome. All right, so let's stay a while longer on this developing story. Join me as we go live to Parliament now. Live on Zoom, my colleague Komla Kluche is in Parliament. Komla, thank you very much for your time. The House has taken a break after paying tributes to the memory of the late Kumewu MP. Has the House resumed?
Yes, Kwesi, the House is just, if you had come in a bit earlier, in about just, say about some 5 seconds, you would have just heard the announcer indicating the Speaker is walking into the chamber. The MPs are in the chamber now. If we have those shots from our live view, you can see. Let's
do some politics. And after being asked by the party to suspend their political campaigns, the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC members of Parliament, to officially resume campaigning after they've been vetted. Now, according to the Deputy General Secretary, Mustafa Gbande, even though the time given for the suspension ends on Friday, March 31, the parliamentary aspirants will have to wait for directives from the party to go ahead with their campaigns.